In a packed congressional hearing room, tension crackled like static electricity. Stephen Miller, a seasoned policy consultant and former White House advisor, sat at the witness table, his dark suit crisp, his expression carrying a familiar air of confidence. Across from him, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a Texas Democrat and former civil rights attorney, adjusted her microphone, her notes meticulously prepared. The room buzzed with anticipation as reporters, spectators, and camera crews awaited what many expected to be a routine session on immigration policy. But this day would be anything but routine. Miller, known for his hardline stances and verbal agility, had a reputation for dominating discussions. His strategy was clear: interrupt, redirect, and overwhelm questioners with rapid-fire responses. At 38, he'd built a career on never backing down, his supporters praising his tenacity, while critics viewed his tactics as aggressive and dismissive. Opposite him, Crockett, 43, a freshman congresswoman, had earned respect for her sharp questioning. With 15 years of courtroom experience, she was no stranger to handling confrontational opponents. Her constituents had sent her to Congress to ask tough questions, and she was ready. The hearing focused on controversial immigration policies, including family separations and detention conditions. Crockett had 15 minutes to question Miller, who was there to defend the previous administration's actions. His team had prepped him thoroughly, identifying Crockett as a potential threat due to her incisive style. Their plan was simple: don't let her gain traction. What Miller didn't anticipate was that Crockett had studied his every move, turning his greatest strength, his interruptions, into a vulnerability. As the committee chairman called the session to order, Crockett began with a question about the timeline for family reunification protocols from 2018. Before she could finish, Miller cut in sharply. "Congresswoman, you're misunderstanding the legal framework. What you call family separation was a law enforcement response to illegal border crossings." His tone was biting, designed to throw her off. The room tensed, but Crockett remained composed, her pen hovering over her notes. She tried again. "As I was saying, regarding the timeline for family reunification," Miller interrupted again, waving a hand. "You can't throw around terms like family separation without context. The media's distorted this, and questions like yours are why people don't trust Congress." Murmurs rippled through the gallery. His supporters nodded, while Crockett's allies exchanged frustrated glances. Undeterred, she pressed on. "Mr. Miller, I'd appreciate the chance to finish my question." Her third attempt cited a 2018 memo from Miller's office, obtained via a Freedom of Information Act request. Before she could elaborate, Miller interjected, his voice dripping with condescension. "Cherry, picked memos taken out of context by activists aren't a serious conversation. This is political theater." His smirk widened, his posture exuding dominance. Crockett's jaw tightened, but her voice stayed steady. "Are you saying these documents are fabricated?" she asked, referencing the memo's directive to separate families, including infants, without regard for age. Miller pointed at her, his voice rising. "You're weaponizing a single line for political points. Let's talk about the children trafficked across the border, not your narrative." The room buzzed, phones recording the escalating clash. Crockett's posture shifted subtly, her shoulders straightening. "I notice you haven't answered my questions about the policies," she said calmly. "Are you unable to defend them or choosing not to?" Miller's eyes flashed. "I'm choosing not to engage with gotcha questions designed for viral moments." He leaned back, gesturing broadly. "You've been in Congress 2 years and think you know immigration better than someone who's worked on it for a decade." The personal attack drew gasps. Even his supporters shifted uncomfortably. Crockett set down her pen, a faint smile crossing her face, not warm, but the kind that signaled she was ready to strike. "Mr. Miller, thank you for that assessment," she said, her voice calm but razor sharp. "Now I have a question." Miller leaned forward, ready to interrupt, but her tone stopped him. "If you're such an experienced policy expert, why did the family reunification database you oversaw have no system for tracking which children belong to which parents?" The question landed like a thunderbolt. Miller opened his mouth, but Crockett continued, her voice gaining strength. "According to your own Inspector General's report, not leaked documents, not opposition research, your policy separated 816 children without a reliable reunification method. You took babies from their parents and didn't track where they went. The room fell silent. Miller's smirk vanished, his face paling. Crockett pressed on. When your staff raised this, you said, and I quote, "That's not my problem. That's for downstream agencies to figure out." So, how does an expert implement a policy that separates families without a plan to reunite them? Is that incompetence or cruelty? Miller froze, speechless for the first time in his career. The silence stretched, broken only by a gasp from the gallery. Crockett wasn't finished. While you think about that, another question. During your tenure, 545 children were never reunited with their families. Some were infants, unable to say their parents' names. Her voice grew passionate but controlled. I've spent 15 years as a civil rights attorney representing families torn apart by systems that didn't care. What I see here isn't expertise, it's a man treating human beings like paperwork and getting angry when asked to account for it. Miller stammered, his voice weak. The processes followed all applicable statutes. Crockett cut in. That's not what I asked. Did you create a system to track separated families or not? Another pause. Miller looked around, desperate. It was handled by multiple agencies. He mumbled. So that's a no, Crockett said. You separated nearly 3-0 families without a way to reunite them. Thank you for clarifying. The exchange went viral before the hearing ended. Clips of Miller's interruptions followed by Crockett's devastating response flooded social media, with #Miller silence trending nationwide. Her line about facing down men who tried to intimidate her resonated widely, becoming a meme for those who'd confronted bullies. News outlets shifted focus to the confrontation, analysts calling it a turning point in political discourse. Miller's team scrambled into damage control, but their efforts backfired. Attempts to paint Crockett as unprofessional clashed with footage of Miller's interruptions. His communications director's claim of wanting substantive discussion looked hollow against videos of his aggressive tactics. Conservative defenders struggled as social media users created mashups highlighting the hypocrisy. The confrontation's impact rippled beyond politics. Advocacy groups used it to spotlight family separation's human toll, sharing stories of affected families. Political strategists noted a shift. Democrats gained confidence to counter aggressive witnesses, while Republicans advised caution with interruption tactics. Business and law schools incorporated the exchange into courses on negotiation and advocacy, citing Crockett's preparation and composure as a model. Crockett's approach, thorough preparation, strategic patience, and turning interruptions into evidence of evasion, became known as the Crockett template. It showed that bullies could be defeated not by matching their aggression, but by outsmarting them. The moment transcended politics, resonating with anyone who'd faced intimidation. It proved that precision, truth, and timing could deliver a knockout blow, leaving a lasting legacy in how power is challenged and accountability demanded.